Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sorry for the late video, but hopefully we can get this on the go here. So this is part two of foiling without, well, I was going to say without heat. We are using heat, but we're without a heat press or a hot foil plate. So we are going to be using heat, but the heat that we're going to be using is a laminator. So this is a card that I made previously. And all the bubbles here, that's using a hot foil. And then these are some sentiments that I actually made on my hot foil press. But I added this foil to my background without using a heat press. Okay. And then this is the inside of the card. How cute is that? A friend of mine just bought a condo, and I think I'm going to send her a congrats just to wish her well for that. Okay. So what we're going to be using today is, as our source of heat, is an average everyday. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to get into the shot here, but your average everyday. Yeah, there we go. Laminator. Okay. This is a Scotch laminator from Walmart. Cost me $25 a couple of months ago. So it's very inexpensive tool. Certainly less expensive than a heat press or a hot foil plate and system. Okay, so this is possible to be doing without having to have a hot foil machine and the die cut machine, all of those kind of things. This is the easy way of doing this. What you want to start with is you want to start with your laminating machine. You want to have it warmed up for at least a half an hour. It needs to be nice and warm because we're going to be running things through there. The other thing that is going to make this possible is the Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo. Okay, transfer gel will work. That was what we used in the last video when we were using the stencils, and then just running it through a die cutting machine in order to have it have the pressure to stick the foil onto the gel once it's done. But if you have the Transfer Gel Duo, it says here you can use it two ways: heat or no heat. Okay, so the reason why this is important, and it's important to have this, is because then you can use it if you're like me and you do have a hot foil machine. You can use your Glimmer machine foils. These are my Go Pressin foils from Couture Creations. So you can use these foils. You don't have to use a toner foil, which is what this is. This is a little shiny there. This is Deco Foil. I used this one in the last video. This is Deco Foil, and it can be used on anything that's a toner. So you can get sheets of toner or print out on laser printer, run this through a laminator, and the foil will then stick to the toner. Okay. However, I find these are a great quality product. Nothing wrong with them. They're great. There's 5 sheets in here. They come out. They're 6 by 12 inches. So they're pretty long. Can't see that, but they're pretty long. But I find that that's a little they're a little pricey for me and for my budget and what I like. Versus, I'm just going to put that to the side here. My Go Press and Foil or my hot foil rolls here, they have 5 meters on them. They are, yeah, so they're almost 5 inches. So this is 6 inches, so 5 inches. So it's an inch shorter, and then these are 12, so that's 6 feet basically, because there's 12 of them. Nope, 5 feet. So 5 feet here. Versus in this, I get 16 feet for $2, $3. Well, actually, that was American because I got this from the States. So this was probably in Canadian. I probably paid $3.50 for this. So $3.50 for 5 meters worth, or 16, almost 17 feet, 16 and a half. Versus this was $8, I believe, for what did I say? 5 feet, 5 feet in length. So this gets to be a little pricey for me. So I'm going to be using my hot foils. The color that I'm going to use today is this beautiful green. I can't tell you the name of it because I took the packaging off because I don't store mine. This is a backstop one actually that I've had for many years now. I haven't taken it out of the packaging yet. But essentially what's in here is exactly this. I'm just gonna put that to the side here as well. Okay, so this is the foil. You can see it's this beautiful shiny color. This is going to be a green that I'm going to use with the stencil that I had pre-done. But I'm going to show you again today. I showed you in the last video, but we're going to do it again today. Because all you need is some regular cardstock. This is from Michaels. This is their Recollections 65-pound black cardstock. The previous ones that I used was just a simple cover cardstock. No problem there. And you're going to need a stencil. So I'm going to put this down here. So I'll make sure I'm in frame because you guys know I end up going off frame. The stencil that I am using is from Simon Says Stamp. And I have the packaging here to keep it out. Yeah, Simon Says Stamp, and it's called Peace, Love, Hope, Joy. Nope, Peace, Joy, Hope, Love. It's likely still available, but I did get it last year. Might not be, but likely. Did I get it last year? I think I got it for my birthday. So that was July, so should be available. Okay. So I'm gonna open up my jar here. Okay. And before I open that up, I want to make sure I've got my pressing foil here by me. Oh. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna peel my pressing foil. I like to use pressing foil on my jars that have pastes and things like that because it provides an airtight seal in there. Oftentimes when you get a jar, you like to think that these, the ridges and everything seal all the air out. They don't necessarily. So I highly recommend adding either some cling film, saran wrap, whatever you want to call it. The best one to use though is the Press and Seal. As you can see, it has sealed itself quite well. So I'm just gonna peel that off here. Move that to the side. I'll work that. Okay. Now, I don't have an expensive spatula here, so this is actually just from the Dollar Tree. It's the Betty Crocker double-ended spatula. So I paid $1. Here in Canada, it's $1.50 now. It's probably $1.25 still in the States, but it's great because it has a great tip on this side. I can spread stuff with this side if I want, or I can, and this side is a lot smaller, so it gets into the jars like a hot bake. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that down here. So that's gonna be a fun edge to work with. Okay, and I'm gonna catch my spatula here. This one is actually a spatula from scrapbooking.com. There's a double, so I'm just gonna push that over here. So I've laid down my medium, and I'm just gonna take my spatula or my squeegee, whatever you want to call this thing here, and I'm just gonna drag the product through. It's kind of bending it so that I have an edge to it. That helps me get all of the product right down into all of these letters. Okay. I'm gonna move this over. Okay. Now this product is water soluble, but you don't want to leave it sitting on your stencils or on your tools for too long because it will dry. It's a glue essentially. Okay. So you want to make sure you want to have a nice even coat all the way across. Okay. So you can see I have quite a bit of product here. I've done quite a few of these card fronts. I haven't made card bases, whatever you want to call them. I haven't, I've only made a few of the cards so far, but I'm quite looking forward to making them. I just haven't had time with the new job. Everything's a little busy. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab a baby wipe here, kind of wipe off my spatula. A bit of wipe. And that to the side here, wiping up the squeegee, the spreader, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And now I'm just going to lift. I'm trying not to get the product on my magnets from my Make Art station here because they're already a little sticky and hard to get off here. So I'm trying to dig down because I want to be able to lift my stencil. So now that I've got it up, I'm going to use my tweezers to hold this down so that I can lift that up cleanly. And now I'm just going to take my baby wipe here and I'm going to place my stencil just kind of face down on it so that the product stays wet until I can go and wash it off in the sink, which will happen right away here. Now this I'm going to put aside and I'm going to let dry for, it needs to get tacky. The first time I was playing with this stuff, I let it dry for about, how long did it take? I think it was about 3 hours, and it was tacky. But now, because it's white, so you can see it, it's going to dry to kind of a clear shine on there, so which looks pretty cool. But yeah, you want to put this aside so that it's not going to get touched or anything like that. We don't want to smudge it. So I'm going to put that to the side in a semi-safe space at least. Certainly safer than my desk is at the moment. And I'm going to give my work surface a bit of a wipe here. And I've got some water here. Alrighty, I think we're good. Okay, now in all honesty, I'm kind of hoping that this video will take a little less time than most of my other classes do. So that's something that I also recommend, that you think of my videos as classes. I'm not great at doing anything short. Not only do I talk too much, but I walk you through the entire procedure. So I want to make sure that you know exactly what I'm doing so that you can follow along. You can do it exactly at the same time. Okay. So I'm just going to trim this off. No, and pull that extra little bit away. I'm using it. And I've sealed this. It's ready to go for the next time. Okay. For those who don't know, this is press and seal, Glad press and seal. If you live in the UK, you can get this from, I believe Simon Says Stamp carries it, and will ship it out to you, because I don't think you can get this in the UK. But in the States or here in Canada, you can definitely get this. For those who don't know, fun fact, Jennifer McGuire's husband is the one who's responsible for creating this. Must have known that crafters were going to use it. Anyway, it's super handy if you're doing inlay die cutting. Also, what else is it really handy for? If you've glued everything down and you love the positioning of how you had everything, you can put the press and seal on top and lift it, and then you can glue everything and then push it back down, and it will stay exactly where you had it. Okay, I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to show you through the magic of television. This is the sample that I had previously done. So it's the exact same stencil, just done on white. So peace, hope, joy, love. Okay. My intention is I'm going to do this green. So we're going to see. Now, there is one funny thing with foils. You get some foils that work really excellent, some that don't. You get to know your favorites and the ones, especially when you're using hot foils, and which ones work the best in your machines. If you are looking to follow someone who is supreme at hot foiling, I highly recommend, highly recommend, oh, I just forgot her name, Nancy Stamps. That's her name, Nancy Stamps. And she has what she calls, even on Facebook, she's got something called the Hot Foiling Snob Club. It's pretty funny. And she really uses all of the machines. She does toner foiling, she does hot foiling, any kind of foiling. She's your girl, Nancy Stamps. You want to chase that down there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my cardstock on here, and I've got my hot foil, and I've got the not nice side touching the adhesive side. So you can see here I've got a couple of black specks. That's because it was sitting with the black cardstock while it was waiting, because I prepped this a couple weeks ago, actually, meant to get to it, and it's been busy. So now I've just got a regular piece of cardstock, just 65 pound. You can also use a piece of copy paper. Basically, this is going to be the, what do they call it? The envelope or whatever, in order to run this through my laminating machine. So I'm just going to run through the folded edge here, not the open edge, because it could get jammed. So I'm going to run the folded edge straight through. And I'm going to hope that I put the foil the right way. Because I always forget. I know on the hot foil systems, it's supposed to be pretty side up, because that's how it's going to go through. But on the laminator, sometimes not always. Okay. And I'm just running it through a couple of times because it's still, I have had it warming up here for a bit. So, but mostly just like the last time on the last video, it's the pressure. So it doesn't need a ton of heat. It's mostly just to heat up some of the adhesive that's in the transfer gel, but also the adhesive that is in so that it bonds the foil part as well. Just one more time here. Because this will make for a very funny video if it actually doesn't work. And this might be a little jumpy. I'm having internet issues, but I didn't want you guys to have to wait because I'm late enough on the video as it is. So I just thought, well, hopefully it will come through okay. There we go. Okay. Well, let's see. So you can see here, okay, it has kind of bonded. I want to make sure that I've put it through the right way. Ooh, I did good. Okay. So now I'm just going to let it cool down for a minute or two here. Just kind of going to give it a little wave here. So this is a little bit of the overfoil. It's kind of why you want to cut it down to about the size of what you're using. Okay. So here we go. Pretty shiny green. There. Yes. Okay. So and I do have, now, if I wanted to, I could take this. I have a large plate that I could use on my my hot foil press, and I could actually take the negative of this, and I can take the negative of this and put it on a card, like a recoil this the negative. But because I have so much, I'm just going to chirp this because there's a little bit of edging here where it's a little too smudgy for me. I'm just going to put them aside here. Okay. So here we go. Check out that foiling. I do have a little bit of overfoiling here at the back, but that are at the bottom. That's likely just because I got a little overzealous with my putting it through on the heat a few too many times. So I'm just going to go through here with my adhesive eraser. The mono sand eraser works like a darn with this. I also have Couture Creations has this really cool little kind of like an eraser pen thing that works like a darn as well, and it just buzzes through. But truthfully, I can put my sentiment there. I don't have to worry about that too much. Okay, so for these now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my laminator off, and we're going to put together a card here. So I think I want this to be, I'm going to do a, what is it, a 5x7 or a 5.5 by 6. Look at that. Oh, that's not going to work because that's too short for him. What's a standard card? Anybody want to shout it out in there? In TV, YouTube land? Just make sure here. So 5 by, I think it's 6.5. 5 by 6.5. Okay, awesome. All right. So I'm going to put that on there like that, but I also want to frame it a little bit. So I've got that really nice green, and I've got my face in my desk here, so I'm hoping you guys can still hear me. Let's see here. Kind of got that nice bright green. That's quite pretty with that. I got these really beautiful cardstock fronts from, I'm pretty sure they were Simon Says Stamp, I think. I had a sale, and I was like, hot diggity, those are good prices. So, ooh, and there's a nice dark one too. So here's a couple, and this is just a, who is that? Recollection, 65 pound, just the regular ones. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of liking either the lighter one. Let's see. I think this one's out. That one's too, a little too, you know. And I kind of like the dark, I think. Do you like the light? Nope, I like the light. You're right. You're right, you're right. Now, I am going to need to trim this panel down a little bit just because it is so big. Now, The reason why I'm wanting to use this bigger one, oh, no, I can do that. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a regular 4¼ by 5½ inch card instead. Start changing my mind. That's the part of the process, All right, here we go. So this is going to sit on here, Okay, yeah, we're going to trim up. Sorry about the creaky chair. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm just going to give it a bit of a trim all the way around. This is my guillotine trimmer by Tim Holtz. This is the medium one. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Since I got this, I have not gone back to a regular paper trimmer. I have the Fiskars one, which I used for many, many, many years. And I quite liked it. What I hated though was always having to change blade. So, you know, they got into my project, had to change blade, had to change blade, had to change blade. Well, on this one, you don't change the blade. How cool is that? So I love that about this. Okay. So I am going to, let's check and make sure that that fits on front of. Take just a scotia off on this one too. So this is really nice paper. I think it's about 80 pound almost, this little one. So I'm just going to take down a couple of slivers just because I want it to fit nicely on my card front here. I don't need a ton of color because I want the foil to be the focus on the card, obviously. I do want just a smidge to have it be, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, have it be nicely framed there. Okay, so just a side note or side fold card base here in white. And I'm going to put my front on here. Uh-oh, honestly, I didn't fold that nicely. There we go. Let's just put that to the back. Shh, nobody will know. Okay. Do this down. Use my Barely Art glue. There's not a ton left. But I've been using it now for over a year, and I really like this glue. It's really quite nice. Okay. Oh, come on. This is, I'm talking about how much I love the glue. I'm getting jam, of course. I was using it earlier tonight, trying to create the samples and get everything ready for the class. And I may have left it open a wee bit. Okay, so now I need to make sure that I'm getting this quite in position here, just because I took just a little bit off. So I don't want a huge white border, right? Now the nice thing is because I use liquid adhesive, I can shift that over just a bit. Now I'm just going to give that a second to smudge in. There we go. Now I'm going to glue my panel down. Do I want to glue the panel down? No, I'm going to pop up the panel. Good point. Whoever gave me that idea out there, we're going to pop up the panel. Pop up the panel. Let's put the back in there. And I need some tape. So I guess it's going to be this one. So I'm fairly certain this is just foam tape I get from the Dollar Tree. I don't have fancy foam tape at the moment. So I'm going to go this. And get it close to the edge there. That's close enough. And it was perfect. Oh wow. So I'm just going to add a little bit in between here because that helps to stabilize it. I don't want it getting bent when I go to send this through the mail or whatever. So just helps to add that little bit in between your rows. You don't have to foam tape everything, but it does help to add that extra wee bit of stability. That's the technical term. Wee bit. Okay. And we're going to stick this longer one down first because I may not have done a great job with my alignment here. We're going to get closer to the edge there, like so. Okay. Now I'm going to add that there. I'm going to put this into 2. Put it there. Put some right there. And a couple in between. Doesn't have to be a lot, but I don't know. Maybe it does. It's all up to you, really. The other thing that you could do if you wanted, could do what Jennifer McGuire does, and she just puts old cardstock behind these so that you're not then using so much foam tape and stuff like that. That's an excellent idea. Gives you a really nice, flat, stable dimension all the way across. But because this was not my plan, I didn't have time to do that. I didn't pre-prep that, and I'm trying not to keep you guys as long for today's class. Yeah, so now I'm just obviously peeling off all of the what do you call it? All of the release papers. Okay. So for your laminators, you know, very simple instructions. You can follow the instructions. They are super, super simple to operate. When you're running through your, if you're trying to do this foiling technique, you want to have it on a 5 mil. This technique can also be done if you have the Mink machine. The Mink machine is a higher tech laminator that has like some really great pressure to it. So that it's a really great machine to be using. If that's where you're so inclined and you already have it, by all means, please use it. This is another way of using your foils. I know a lot of people bought the Mink machine back in the day, and I have a lot of friends that bought it and have never used it. So this is one of the ways that you can use it, and use the foils that you had to go with it as well. Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of line that up, making sure that I've got a relatively even border all the way around. Not too shabby, not too shabby. There we go. Okay. And then I've got this really lovely Merry Christmas. Now I just cut this out of gold foil paper. This one was not foiled, but it's on vellum. And the reason why is because I want that shine to come through, but I do want to have a wonderful little sentiment on here. Now I can go down here where a few of my letters are a little footsie. I could go up high right in the center, but I think I'm going to kind of go down here. I'm not super happy with, I kind of smudged when I was doing my stenciling, so I've got a bit of a smudge there. So just never throw it away. You can always cover it. Cover it with a flower, cover it with some bling, whatever. Okay, now the nice thing about this particular sentiment is that it has the shadow. So I was able to cut out the shadow out of the vellum, which is awesome. So it's going to give me that color and that little bit of definition that you need on this really shiny paper. But it also gives me, because the sentiment it's not super fine, so it allows me to, it gives me a space where to put my adhesive behind my vellum. So my adhesive is not showing. Sorry, I've got a bit of a clog here just going on. Wait a minute, I'm trying not to squish it too much. I've done that before on other adhesives, and I've squeezed it so hard that I've shot adhesive across the room. There is a room here in Edmonton that has a ton of gold sparkle stickles that I was squeezing so hard it shot up out of the bottle. Missed my face, thank goodness, because I had it like this and I was looking directly at it. And yeah, needless to say, there is still stickles on the ceiling to this day. And not a small amount either. What did I do with my, there. Okay, so I'm just going to put some blocks on top of this. Okay. And then in order to bring in the gold a little bit more, I have these really adorable little, well, I think they're adorable. No, not everybody might agree with me, but I think they're adorable. There it is right there. Little gold baubles, and they come in just a variety of sizes, and they're just so little cute. They've got the same shine, same tone, basically, as the Merry Christmas. So I'm just going to put some out here in my little tray. Because for those of you who saw the one where I dropped it and I was putting them in the tray to make it nice and easy to put back, and then I managed to smudge them all over the place. Yeah, you can laugh. You can laugh. It's okay. It was very funny. Just as I was telling you, this is why you want to have one of these trays. I managed to do that before I even got them in the blooming tray. So now you can see, like, look at the size of that bauble. It's just huge. It's almost the same size as my pinky. So it's really cute. And then it goes down to like millimeters. Look at how tiny this little guy is. I don't know if that's going to show in. Is that going to show? Yeah. Like, look at the difference. So goes from really, really tiny to quite large ones there. So I'm just gonna put in a few bubbles. Let's see, kind of like, usually I like to do the bigger one on top, and then I get one of these guys that's, no, this guy's the next size down. I'm gonna go like that, and then we're gonna go with a slightly bigger one, like that. You all know me, I have to do the rule of 3, 3, 5, whatever. You need to have an odd number when you're doing baubles and things like that. Flowers, same thing. You want it to be an odd number because your eyes find that more visually appealing. Okay, that works for me. I kind of like that, actually. Yep, that'll work. Okay, so now I'm going to attempt to use my glue again, and I've just got a little wax stick. I actually got this from AliExpress because I broke the tip on my nice jewel picker that I had. And I thought that I had a replacement, but it turns out my jewel picker is a more specific kind. So I have to have the right replacement for the tip. So I'll have to find one of those to order. Yay me. This guy here. I'm going to throw a little bit more adhesive down there because this guy actually, this little bauble, it's not so little, it does weigh a bit more. Okay. And because I've got a smudge right there of where some of my adhesive was, or my transfer gel, or the transfer gel, the duo, I'm going to do that and add a little bit more. And I'm just going to put these away before I go and knock them. Sorry, you're going to have to wait for that. These are handier than all get out. You can get them from Simon Says Stamp. I got a bunch. I got 10 of them for, I don't know, like a couple of bucks from AliExpress, actually. They're little trays. They come to a point that makes it really easy to put your little sequins and jewels and things like that back into the little baggies, or if you carry them in the little, any little containers and things like that. And for me right now, because I'm out of container room, because I have a problem when it comes to these things, I'm just keeping them in the bag, and I have a tiny little buffalo clip, and it holds it close for me. So that works. Okay, so that is essentially our class for today, for using foiling and heat, but not having to have a hot foil machine. Okay, so we've got card number 1 and card number 2. Let me see if I can get that in closer. Yeah. Anyway, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer questions. Here's some of the examples of some of the other ones that I did. So these are the stencils, just using the product, the transfer gel, and then either my hot foils or the Deco Foil. Okay, so there's one. This one's beautiful. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? There's another one. It's just gorgeous. These foils are just gorgeous on black, like dark cardstock. This is one of my favorite stencils, this one here. This is another one. Looks almost like snakeskin. Comes through just like that. So pretty. Another one. Some of these I'm going to be turning into happy birthday ones. Obviously the one with snowflakes I'll probably turn, sorry, excuse me, into a Christmas one. But the ones that, oh, sorry guys. Ones that have the more Christmassy designs, I'll likely do a Christmas card. So right here you can see I've got just a bit of schmutz where the gel kind of transferred and squished under the stencil a little bit. But because there's so much going on, you don't really see it. That also makes it a great place to if I'm doing a, obviously this is going to be a slim line, but I can put my sentiment right there. I can put a gnome right there, or a critter, or a snowflake, or. So don't throw them away. Look at how pretty that is, hey? And what you can't see, I'm pretty sure you can't see it through the camera, but these also have texture and dimension because of the gel, right? When you're doing regular foiling, you don't get that texture on them. You know how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, I had way too much fun using these with my foils because I really love the look of foiling and the results that you get and all of those kind of things. So I hope that you enjoyed today's class. If you have any questions, please, by all means, do put them down in the comments below. I read every comment. Keep what you're saying kind, otherwise I will delete it. But I do look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. Thank you to those of you who are returning. I love it when you comment. I love it when you subscribe. I love it when you hit the like button. Thanks so much, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.